Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our last episode of Mondays with Mundy, and that's me, Jim Mundy, the historian for the Union League Legacy Foundation. And this episode is being broadcast on December 25th of 2023. And it has been over 3.5 years since we started this episode at the very beginning of the pandemic. We started in April of 2020, so quite a string. But as you may recall from the last episode, I'm retiring on December 28th. So this will be my last one, and I hope you enjoy it. Uh, I let Kira talk me into now. Kira, remember, she who must be obeyed, Kira Foley-Tusman, who runs our department, the Legacy Foundation, and makes it work and stuff like that. So Kira suggested, and when Kira suggests something, we take it seriously, that I do the last two episodes be one on me doing reminiscences, which I did last week, and this one being a photographic essay of my 45 years at the League. Well, luckily for me, there's not a photograph from every year. Even there are photographs from quite a few years that are missing, if they ever took them. I managed to avoid that. So I hate having a photograph taken. So anyway, this is what I did. So I'm calling it Jim's Farewell. All right. So let me see if I can do the share screen right for one last time. Okay, where the heck is it? And we did it. Hot dogs. How do you like that? It only took me like 4 tries. Okay. All right, here goes, folks. All right, Jim's Farewell, December 25th, 2023. All right. There is actually a photograph of me taken in the main office of the Union League where I spent the summer of 1978. Unexpectedly, I was expecting to go to the archives, but there was a staffing realignment at the League, and I ended up in the main office, and somebody took a photograph of me, and it's here in my house somewhere, but I can't find the darn thing. So I'm ashamed to admit, but I can't find it. So I substituted that with this caricature that was done of me easily 35 years ago. Given a group of high school students a tour of the League, and we did some show and tell with some civil war effects. And one of the kids was very, very talented, as you can see, and did this caricature of me. And so I figured, so therefore it is, I think, the oldest image of me that I can find relatively at the Union League. So that's that. So not a bad way to start it off. Here we have our first photograph. This is May of 1986. That is the Hudson River because I was with the Armed Services Committee on a trip to West Point. And I don't know how I got on that trip or why they chose me to be on that trip, but I was on the trip. And because I knew how to do videotaping, I was the official trip documentarian, if you will. So that's us on the Hudson River in May of 1986. Gosh, I had dark hair once upon a time, didn't I? Onward. So this is a little later actually, no, then I take that back. This is March of 1980. No, it's 80. It's March of 1888. Pretty sure it is. And this is the junior committee's dinner dance. And I'm not sure why it was there, but it was. And that's me on the left-hand side, as you can see. And then you have in the middle, Bob and Elizabeth Flood. Bob was the president of the Union League. And then Stan Orr on the right was the general manager. So who uh, had a great amount of courage and putting me in league management once upon a time. And that's a different story for a different time if we ever get there. Anyway, we're still talking 1988. So this is March 29th of 1988 when Richard Nixon gave a foreign policy speech at the Union League. You've heard me talk about this in the past a few times, I think. And clearly, you know that it's still just embedded in my memory as one of my great memories from the League. I talked about it in the last episode, as a matter of fact. So that was me giving Richard Nixon a tour of the League House in March of 1988. And then in the summer of 1990, I'm still working with the Armed Services Committee. I'm in club management at this point. I had gone from collections management to club management. I'm the activities manager, director, or something like that at that point. And I'm responsible for the Armed Services Committee. And uh, we are on the flight deck of the USS Kitty Hawk, CVA 63. And it is in Philadelphia for the SLEP program, Service Life Extended program. And the captain of the Kitty Hawk, Dan Rainey, great guy all the way around, had joined the Union League and was on the Armed Services Committee. And so he invited them down for a tour of the Kitty Hawk while it was at the Philadelphia Navy base. So that's what you see there. Alrighty. Now, this is me as the membership director giving a talk at the new member reception and dinner in September of 1991. So, wow. Oh, I did have dark hair, didn't I? That's gone. So this is October of 1996. There had been a strategic realignment of the management team. So we were shuffled around. I was put back into collections management at this point. So I became director of library and historical collections. And obviously that's me on the right. And then on the left, we have Lisa Farrell, who became director of sales for the banqueting department. And then in the middle, Beth Harlow, who became membership and marketing director. And a little piece of fun trivia. I still own that suit and I still wear that suit. I wore it to work a couple times this summer, as a matter of fact. So how do you like that? Coming up next. All right. So this is just a few years later, and it is the only photograph I could find of me actually in collections. So this is the archive when it was up on the fifth floor of the 15th Street building way back then. And this is Erica, who was helping her parents help me put an exhibit together at the Lig. And I forget Erica's last name. Forgive me, Erica. But anyway, that's the only photograph I could find of me actually in the archives. So there it is. So that's that. So in June of 1999, the editor of the Banner pulled a fast one on me. They said, Jim, we need you in a photo shoot. We're going to do some food and beverage stuff inside the house. I said, okay, so can you bring in your tuxedo? And that should have been an alarm, but it wasn't. Pretty dense about those things. And I get my tuxedo on. I said, okay, great, sure. Jim, here's your bride. You're going to get some photographs outside because you're now married. so this is me with my bride. So I was a bigamist at this point because I was already happily married. And that is us waving to our fans, I guess, of the Broad Street portico on Broad Street. And you can see it's June of 1999. So there you go, folks. Yep, and here's another issue of the Banner, January 2000, Team 2000. Now, Jeff McFadden, front row center, had only been at the league since November 1998. But this is the team that he had assembled at that point in time. And of that team, there are three of us who are still at the Lig. So Jeff on the front row middle, and then behind him, with that wonderful smile, is Patty Tobin, who is the COO and the general manager of the Lig clubhouse in Center City. And then that's me to the left of Patty. So, and at that point, I am in collections management still. So that's that. And everybody else is gone. So those are our old colleagues, and maybe you recognize a few of them. Next one, and last Banner issue, because it's one way to get your photograph taken, is you can see it's service at the Lig. And that is a large portion of the Lig staff at the Lig house on Broad Street. And so you can see the railing on the right-hand side. Jeff's about halfway up on the right-hand side, and I'm to the left of Jeff again. I don't know how that worked out, but it did. So you can see it's March of 2002. So that was us back then. And what's up next? Oh, I know. Okay. So in September of 2015, I took a group of Pepper patrons. And the Pepper patrons were our Friends of the Library group, and a great group of people, wonderful organization. And we went on a trip to Scotland. And it was the first of many trips. We just came back from one last October, so we're still doing trips. And that is a whiskey shop in Scotland, in Aberdeenshire. And that is Carol Lieberman and I. Carol's buying the scotch. I actually bought gin because I found some locally made gin in that part of Scotland, and I still have a bottle of it, and it's really good stuff. So there you go. So that was 2015. This is our trip to England in the fall of 2016. That is Gawsworth Old Hall, and Gawsworth is in the eastern part of Cheshire, which is in the West Midlands of England. Great trip, and you'll see some familiar faces. A lot of repeaters, and why not? Because they were fun trips. So that's Gawsworth Old Hall, and that is the lady of the house in the center in the blue sweater. And then this is us at Natchez, Mississippi, at a plantation house. Forget which one. So we did some domestic traveling as well. And then this is the most recent trip. This is October of 2023. We went to Northwest Italy, and this is the group in Turin at a restaurant. It's our first group. It's actually the first night we're all there together as a group. So, because some people had flown in earlier. So Torino, as the Italians would call it. And it was a phenomenal trip, and everybody had a great time. So those are the trips. Now we're going to go back in time a little bit because we're going back to, I'll just say July of 2018, because in June of 2018, I had colon surgery and was out of commission for a while. And I decided I wasn't going to shave. So this is what I look like when I don't shave after a few weeks. I thought you needed some comic relief at this point. So don't worry, the beard didn't last long. Though some people say they like that, but that's who knows. That's Dr. Karen Lawson in the center and her husband Bill, and they were very brave to have their photograph taken with me looking like that. So there you go. And this is later in 2019, actually, this is September 2019, me giving a talk to a group of high school students who were at the League to learn about the League, the Civil War of Philadelphia, and all that kind of good stuff. And that's me reading from the Tanner manuscript, uh, which is one of the great documents we have in the League's archives. So, and then this is oh no, I'm sorry. So the previous slide was March of 2019, and this is Memorial Day. March, this is like May 28th of 2019, and that's me at the Christ Church graveyard, which is at 6th and Arch in Center City, and I had just placed a wreath on the grave of Major Charles Izard McEwen, who was the only member who died in uniform during the war itself. He died just 10 days before the war ended. He died on March the 29th of 1865. And in front of me is his VA grave marker, the flat stone, and to the left is the marble vault in which Major McEwen is buried in the family, the McEwen family vault at Christ Church. So, and then this is April the 7th of 2021. And on the left, you have League President Craig Mills. On the right, General Manager Jeff McFadden, because I had just been given the President's Award. Actually, for all the work I did during the pandemic by doing these Mondays with Mondays. So how do you like that? So it was truly an incredibly humbling experience to be given an award like that. So there's that. This is me. That's what's in the summer of 2019, 1921. I'm sorry. This is me in Old Lyme, Connecticut, at the studio, in the studio of Georgian Sokol, who was the artist who painted that wonderful portrait, but not done yet, of Frederick Douglass, which is behind me. So I paid a visit to the Lyme Academy of Fine Art, where Jordan is the director and runs the show. I'm doing a darn good job of it. I'm there to see how the portrait was coming along as part of my responsibilities as the art curator. So that was a great trip up. And in that same summer is me having fun playing golf. So the Legacy Foundation for 20 years has had a golf outing every year to raise money for the foundation, and it's different functions and programs. And of course, people like to give money when they're playing golf because they have fun. And why not? So this is Union League National down at the Jersey Shore. And on the left is Mike Prawn, then me, then Louis Scaglione, aka the Maestro, and then on the right, again, League President Craig Mills. And we had a great time. Really had a fun time playing together. So I get to have some fun as well. And then this is September of 2021. This is me taking the Millennium Club table members on actually a tour and then a talk at the Woodlands Cemetery in West Philadelphia, where a number of League members are buried, some fascinating members as well. But there's also some other interesting characters there, including Thomas Akins. And so I'm at the Akins family plot, talking about Thomas Akins a little bit. And to the left of my leg on the ground there, you can see that flat stone, and that is the marker for Thomas Akins and his wife, Susan McDowell Akins. So that's Millennium Table then, and this was the Millennium Table this year. This was June the 1st of this year, me giving a talk to them on the Ladies Committee, the History of the Ladies Committee at the League, which has been an incredibly important and influential and a committee that does just a lot of good things at the League, including raise money for the foundation. So that was that, and of course that's Lincoln Memorial Room. And then here, this was November of this past year, just 2 months ago, not even quite. That is Ron White on the right, and Ron is an award-winning historian and a biographer. He's been at the League a couple times, one of our best speakers of all time. And he was here on November the 1st to talk about Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, the subject of his most recent Civil War biography. And so it was a great pleasure and honor to have breakfast for the next day and then have the photograph taken. So Ron White. And then this is me just goofing off with John Serlin. I just wanted to prove and show everybody that, yes, I do have a sense of humor. It doesn't always show at times, but I do have one. So that's that. And then this is me with Cassell Moore, who has been at the League almost as long as I have. So Cassell has been in the food and beverage department, to give it a broader term, ever since she started the League, and she still is. She's a banquet captain to this day. And so when I retire on the 28th, Cassell will become the longest tenured employee at the league. I started on May the 15th of 1978, and Cassell started on May 17th. And we've known each other all that time, and we have a great time together. We joke, we kid, all that kind of fun stuff. So Cassell, good luck. It's all yours. And then just this past November 21st, I gave my last program at the league on and a panel discussion on the architect Horace Trumbear, who built two-thirds of the league clubhouse, league member, greatest architect in Philadelphia history, and somebody who deserved to be recognized. And of course, he is now with the new restaurant, rooftop restaurant at the league house. And so uh, I had pleaded not to have any kind of a party. I'm not a big like going away party guy. And John Miko, the executive director on the left, promised me that okay, we wouldn't have anything. And so did Kira. And so at the end of the program, John surprises me by announcing to the audience, and there's like 240, 50 people out there, that I'm retiring. Now what do you do? Well, then John announced that there was a party across the hall. We were in the grant room, and now we did the mead room. And so off we go. And it was a wonderful evening. It was everybody was gracious. It was just a wonderful, wonderful night and a wonderful way to say goodbye to a lot of people. And so here we are with the foundation staff at the end of the night and showing you, hopefully, once again, that yes, I do have a sense of humor, I hope. And so there's John on the left, there's Madeline, then Kira, and then Maggie. I got that wrong. Geez, Jim, let's rewind. So it's John, Margaret or Maggie, okay, and then Kira, and then Madeline. I don't know whose bald head that is behind. And then we have Becca, who's in the library. We've got Jess, who came back to help run programming and office and stuff like that. And then on the far right, we have Kristen Rand, who's now the director of development and doing a hell of a job raising money, because that's what makes everything work. So, and that's yours truly on the floor going, why did they do this to me? So anyway, that's that. Here we go. One last time. This is a better photograph, isn't it? Yeah, it really is. So again, John, Margaret, Maggie, Kira, love that smile, Kira, Madeline, Becca, Jess, Kristen, and yours truly on the floor. And I finally stood up. Now, regretfully, there were two colleagues missing, Keely Tullio and Amanda Rockwood, who have been great colleagues all along. So I'll miss you guys, but everything has to come to an end at some point in time. So here we go. So this is it, folks. This is the end. So thank you for your continued patronage and viewing of these wonderful episodes. I hope you've enjoyed them over the years. I know that I have, and it's time to say goodbye. So Happy New Year, everybody. Have a great 2024. Stay well, stay healthy, and maybe I'll see you around Philadelphia sometime. Thanks and goodbye.